This is the Morning Shower.
Brought to you by Late Night Hump.
Let the news wash over you.
With Jordan Freed,
Brendan O'Brien,
and Reena Ezra.
These are your ShowerHead Lines.
Over the course of 24 hours this week, House Republicans voted to defend a freshman conspiracy theorist with a history of violent rhetoric and a mainstream party leader who backed Donald Trump's impeachment. The seemingly conflicting moves signal that Republican leaders, particularly in the House, are betting they could return to political power by cobbling together a coalition featuring both pro-Trump extremists and those who abhor them. The votes also suggest that Washington Republicans are unable or unwilling to purge far-right radicals from their party, despite some GOP leaders' best wishes. But is this really that crazy from the party that invaded Iraq on false pretenses of weapons of mass destruction?
Guess who's trying to put the MyPillow company out of business? David Hogg, a Parkland school shooting survivor and gun control advocate. He plans to launch his own pillow company with entrepreneur William Legate. Their new pillow design comes with a sensor so that if you put a gun underneath the pillow, it will make it disappear.
A Massachusetts man accidentally swallowed his Airpods but didn't know until he saw the x-ray. The man, Brad Gauthier, was shocked to find out that his tiny wireless headphones had become wedged in his esophagus while he was sleeping. While Gauthier was relieved once the Airpods had been removed, his esophagus was reportedly upset that the Airpods were removed and was quoted as saying, "I was in the middle of listening to the newest episode of Sessions with Mary Jane, produced by LNH Studios, available on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and all major podcast platforms."
Who knew typing a really long URL could burn a single calorie? Anyway, that's the premise behind the marketing campaign for Miller Lite's Super Bowl commercial. Why a single calorie? That's the difference in calories between Miller Lite and one of its competitors, Michelob Ultra. Miller Lite at 96 calories has more. Just how many characters do you have to type to burn this calorie? 836. During Michelob Ultra's Super Bowl commercial, if you want some free cash, Miller Lite is going to Venmo you the price of a beer. But no one's going to tell if you spend it on your rent.
Jacob Chansley, the furry hat-wearing, face-painted Capitol rioter with horns and no shirt, was moved to the Alexandria Detention Center in Virginia after a federal judge ordered authorities to provide him with organic food while he's in custody. Chansley went 9 days without eating and lost 20 pounds because organic food wasn't served at the jail in Washington. The QAnon shaman considers eating organic food to be part of his shamanic belief system and way of life. Well, I consider wine and cocaine to be part of my religious belief system.
A man has been fined after claiming he drove 300 miles in lockdown to take a picture of planets from Snowdon while he was caught with his trousers around his ankles on the side of the road in Wales. Philip Petrick was fined a total of €745 for being drunk and disorderly and €500 for breaching COVID regulations. Petrick became hostile when witnesses on the scene told him, quote, "The only planet that we can see from here is Uranus."
The U.S. trade deficit rose 17.7% last year to $679 billion, the highest since 2008, as the coronavirus disrupted global commerce and confounded then-President Donald Trump's attempts to rebalance America's trade with the rest of the world. The gap between the value of goods and services in the United States sells abroad and what it buys climbed from $577 billion in 2019, the Commerce Department said Friday. Exports skidded 15.7% to $2.1 trillion, and imports fell 9.5% to $2.8 trillion. It's as if the guy who played a businessman on TV knew nothing about business.
New Jersey firefighters rescued 77-year-old woman Jeanette Ward, who said she had been trapped in her van for 5 days after this week's snowstorm. She told NBC New York that she fell asleep in the van she's been living in, parked in Newark on Sunday, and woke up Monday unable to get out after a storm dumped more than 18 inches of snow on the region. Apparently, Hollywood screenwriters are now contacting Ward to star in a reboot of Snowbound with Neil Patrick Harris and a random baby.
Unemployment agencies across the country were bombarded with so many claims during the pandemic that many struggled to distinguish the correct form from the criminal. If they were struggling so much, then maybe they should have hired some employees.
More dreadful news from the major snowstorm that dumped more than 30 inches in parts of the Northeast. This time in Pennsylvania, prosecutors said a man shot and killed a couple in a murder-suicide over a snow removal dispute. Wow, this gives me goosebumps. Reminds me how god-awful it was when I would have to shovel snow with my dad. No, you're doing it wrong. Hold the shovel this way. You're wearing the wrong kind of gloves, goddammit. Just stand over there and watch me do it. Maybe you'll learn something.
Thank you for showering with us.
Lather, rinse, repeat every day before noon.
Scrub-a-dub-dub at latenighthump.com.